All right, what's up, everybody? It's Albert Campa and Joel with the CantinaMX podcast. This is episode 169. So we're talking semifinales from Liga MX, Liguilla. I guess we'll begin with the. What's up, Joel? How's it going?
Hey, Chickies, it's been a fun week. A lot of football, a lot of talking points. So glad to be back at the cantina so we could talk
Yeah,
about all these moments. Gran final. Yes.
yeah. So I guess the first series in the Liga in the semifinales was Cruz Azul Monterrey. Since we've last podcasted last week, and the only thing that I wanted to say about that was coming in. I believe at the beginning of the season, I went with Monterrey to win the whole thing because they were so stacked with Pizarro and Aviles Hurtado and all those guys. But then during the season, they didn't play very well, and then all of a sudden, Liguilla, it looked like they were ramping up with Funes Mori getting a chilena, and then getting a 1-0 win against Cruz Azul in the first leg. Of course, Cruz Azul barely uh, was able to tie him up in the Global, and then pass through because they were higher up on the table. The super leader curse did not affect them, so they were able to advance. What were your thoughts on that series, Cruz Azul Monterrey?
Yes, definitely. I believe Monterrey Monterrey were one of the favorites, even though they started the season pretty sketchy. It took them a while. Um, but that's a team that's very stacked and that has been, they've been fighting for that league title. I mean, on their Mohamed, they lost two finals in a row. So it's definitely the team that knows how to get in Liguilla and play. So it's pretty impressive, for Cruz Azul, that because you could say player for player, Rayados is more stacked than Cruz Azul, you know.
Yeah,
And so yeah, it's pretty for Cruz Azul. I think they've had a wonderful season, having won the Copa and then finishing first. Wait, second? Were they first or second? Well, they
Cruz
finished top the
Azul.
table. Uh,
Yeah,
First, right? They did end up. Did they end up first place?
yeah. Cruz Azul was
We have one job,
first.
Chiquis, and we're getting it wrong.
Cruz
Yeah, no, they
Cruz
were
Azul.
back and forth with America. Yeah, for first and
Yeah,
second. Um, so yeah, I mean that those are big accomplishments. Sometimes as fans we don't realize just it's not that easy for teams even to finish a season with 30 points. That it's no easy task. So that has been really good points, and it shows just how well Cruz Azul has been working, and they're in the final now. So they were starting to get some flack. Some of the press just like to create controversy or make things seem worse than they are. So they were saying how Cruz Azul struggled, but Monterrey was a team that could have beaten them, and no one should have been surprised. I mean, they, that's the whole saying that Liguilla is a separate tournament, and we've seen
yeah,
it many times in Liga MX when you have teams that they end up qualifying in eighth or sixth, but they caught fire at the right moment and they run away with the league. So that's like two separate tournaments. So just because Monterrey had struggled, that doesn't take away from how good of a team they are. So yeah, I think Cruz Azul might not have looked as spectacular, but they took down a heavyweight. They definitely took down a heavyweight.
yeah. And Pizarro got his goal in the first game. He off a header. It was it looked like Monterrey was was running on all cylinders. He was also playing well on the field as well. Um, the way he does controlling the ball and everything, and uh, yeah, it was looking good for them. But the 1-0 win in Monterrey left me doubting. I was like, with all the hype that Monterrey was receiving, to just
Yes.
leave the
Oh.
Tamalera with a 1-0 win and our advantage was sort of like lackluster.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's something I think we talked about in our previous podcast, where you needed a bigger, a much bigger win, at least 2-0, to if you're hoping to take out a team like Cruz Azul, especially a team that's ranked higher up, that with a draw will you know they're gonna get the preference, and that's what happened.
Yeah. Yeah, so Cruz Azul, I think that was they had 36 points. They did well in the league. They won Copa MX, so they're having an awesome season. They made it to the final. I think
Yeah,
even the way things are right now, everything's great for them.
they, yeah, they're set up for success. I mean, and this is what Pelaez just having arrived. What is it? 6 months ago, and they're still they're still gonna do some cambios. Next season they could probably bring in another striker. I think Cartucho Quemado, Carterucho.
Yeah.
I think he might not stay for long. He scored a few goals, but I think they could do better than him. Send him to Atlas or something, and if they get a prolific striker, watch out, man, because that's just what they need. They need a good prolific striker, their own Gignac, and Cruz Azul will be scary, man. They'll be scary good.
Yeah, they had some he had like some clear opportunities. I recall one in the second leg of the Monterrey series
Yeah,
and he missed it.
yeah.
Um,
He
it was just one-on-one versus the goal.
yeah he hasn't been as prolific as good as expected. They brought him in thinking he was gonna at least be in the double digits, but he has struggled a lot. So I could see him being transferred out next season, because Cruz Azul definitely they'll have enough in the piggy bank to bring in a top striker. Uh, so yeah, knowing Pelaez, he likes to bring from within the league. Uh, there is a whole Boselli thing that with Leon,
Yeah,
he's a proven player. He could get you those double digit goals. You know, so
that would be a good one.
that could. I mean, what he, it's up to see if he you know um yeah, let's see what happens. Probably could bring back something, prove it. See, bring back, bring back,
Oh shoot, you're cutting out, I think. I think you're cutting out. I haven't.
hello?
Yeah, okay. You're back now, I think.
I hear you cutting off, Chickies.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I heard you cutting off too, man. Why are you? You're blaming me. um,
Maybe it's the stream
no,
itself.
yeah, is I think because I heard you.
It's just
Yeah, yeah, uh, but I think that Cruz Azul, yeah, they're heading into the final. Uh, they did not look as spectacular going in, and they're definitely not favorites, especially after what America did. And not just for that game, but America's overall record. I think they're like 15 games undefeated or something like that, which
mhm.
is pretty impressive, man. pretty impressive. But we're not surprised here at the Cantina. We've been singing Piojo's praises for a long time. I think he just gets a lot of bad flack because of some of his shenanigans with the selección. Just a lot of overall hate, which is pretty ridiculous. But if you go by the numbers, he's been very consistent, coach.
The only thing though, like I wasn't on the last episode with you guys, but um, I haven't seen Piojo in America do as well defensively as I've expected in the previous, I think quarterfinals. They were. It seems like they were bunkering and playing counterattack too much and letting the opponents back into the game a little more than they should. The only thing that I fear with the Cruz Azul, like when I was watching Cruz Azul Monterrey, I was thinking, okay, they should just lose this series and go out right here because 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 if they do, at least they're in third place and they're not in second place like they usually are. Because if
Yeah,
they go up against America, I was like, you either win and you win two cups, Copa MX and League, or you lose and you're subcampeón once again against the Papi America. So it's like for Cruz Azul, the pressure is there even extra because of their history with America in the final and just in general being subcampeones all the time.
yeah, that's definitely going to be uh, one of the major obstacles for Cruz Azul, and I think this is where Pelaez, comes in, and I think he's done a great job, and the way I see Pelaez, I see him as like Danny Ocean, and in America as the Pelagio man.
Oh yeah,
he's he he studied it, man. He knows all the quirks. Dude, he knows that club inside and out. He was a player. He was a directivo. He knows of the players that are there. He just, dude. I think he makes a big difference. He's definitely an ace under Cruz Azul's sleeve. Um, there's there's interviews with Piojo where because Pelaez worked with Piojo not just at America but also at the national team, and 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 Pelaez, he works very close to the coach, to the manager, to the point where he they go over tactics and why they do this cambios, or why certain players, he's on top of all of that, and so I think he knows Piojo's playbook, man. I think he knows a lot of the things that Piojo's bound to do, or how, well,
yeah.
a lot of his moves. I think it's like your coworker, man. You get to know what you've been around your coworker long enough. You know what they order to eat, or how they like their coffee, and that's how I see Pelaez, man, going up against Piojo. I think unless Piojo's gonna, I don't think Piojo has to alter anything just because the squad the way it is, but I do think that helps. That definitely helps Cruz Azul going in and having that intel. I think that's gonna be big, and I think that will help Caixinha a lot. Um,
That's a huge point. I never thought of that.
yeah, no, he and they work together for a long time. It's not like they just spend one tournament. They they work together long enough that he should have a good understanding. I was talking to Ivan from the Eagles Nest pod, and
Hmm.
they don't seem to worry about that. They don't think it's a big, you know. But I
Uh,
do, man. To me, it's like this dude's peered into the, you know, he's seen the schematics. He's seen the playbook. Do you remember Waterboy? Did you see the
yeah.
movie Waterboy?
Oh yeah,
And
yeah,
remember Henry Winkler? He lost his playbook. That other
yeah.
coach stole it. That's kind of he's he took my playbook and my manhood. Um, but that's kind of, well, not, that's a bit exaggerating, but that's almost like along the lines of he's seen his playbook, man. He's gone through Piojo's notebook with his drawings, and he's seen the X's and O's, man.
Pelaez,
Uh,
the epic Epic phrase.
Eres un estúpido.
He would be king, man. He would be king if he takes Cruz Azul to this title,
Hey,
because that would be two titles.
to me, he already is, man.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, right now, no other GM has been as consistent as Pelaez. They've come close, but Pelaez, man, those numbers, insane, insane, and I bet he won't have a shortage of job offers from Liga MX. You know, um, ultimately, I would like to see him with the selección,
Hmm.
just cause of how he works. But that might not be the case for a few years. Doesn't seem to get along with Yon De Luisa, who's the head honcho, and Yon De Luisa is the guy that kicked him out of America. So, and if Pelaez beats him, I don't think Yon De Luisa is gonna like that much either. I feel like, you, you know,
Yeah. Well, as far as like, I mean, I'm not rooting. Like Ron was asking who you're rooting for and all that.
yes,
I'm not really rooting for anybody. I'm just for the entertainment value. But there was an interview with Chuy Corona with what's his name, Osvaldo. Osvaldo Sanchez interviewed him, and they went over the Moises Munoz goal and the final where they lost. And I think Chuy Corona and whoever else was on that team, Cata Dominguez might have been on the team as well. But they deserve, like, all the suffering and hardship they've gone through being Cruz Azul players. They deserve to finally win a title. So I would like to see them win. I'm just thinking they're probably not gonna, but it would be great to see Cruz Azul win this.
no, yeah, I am hoping for them to win. Um, a big reason because I'm a big fan of Pelaez. You know,
Yeah,
yeah, and but the issue is, along with my fellow Chivo hermanos, is that is that a lot of these teams are getting closer to the titles that Chivas has. Um, but I think the writings, and ultimately they might catch up or have more campeonatos than Chivas. Because right now it's Chivas and America head to head. If America wins, they take the lead. But Cruz Azul wins, they're closer to you know bumping down Chivas, which I think the writing's on the wall. Within the next 10 to 20 years, Chivas could easily fall down to fourth or fifth as far as campeonatos won. Because Chivas has been winning just one campeonato every 10 years. If you At that rate, yeah, they're bound to get displaced. We've seen teams, especially now with the short. I say now, it's like, especially since Liga MX went to the short season, the double tournaments, and we've seen teams like Santos come up. You know,
yeah,
so I think it is a matter of time when it'll be interesting. Like Chivas might look like a mid-table team, which I'm gonna catch some flack. And hey, and we've been trying to say it here because we were they were telling us on the Facebook we were too pro Chivas, but hey, look, what I'm saying now, I've caught a lot of flack from Chivo hermanos on Twitter for saying stuff like this. Um, but let's take a quick look at league titles.
it might be a thought that the Mexicans that the young Mexican kids that want to do well want to go to Europe. And if they go to Europe, then they're not going to Chivas, and Chivas has a Mexican base, so they end up getting the players that aren't the greatest.
No, I'm gonna tell you. Basically, what it comes down to is that what it comes down to is that Goddamn. Oh, just how much money it costs to hold on to a team that is, like if you have a championship team, so it becomes very expensive to hold on to that squad, and that Chivas has never been able to do for the past, man, probably since the '60s. They probably since football was semi-pro, they haven't been able to hold on to a team long enough that
Yeah,
you they could keep competing, and that's one of the things I saw where Higuera was getting a lot of hate, but it's like you really can't hate on him too much because it wasn't really his call to get rid of those players. He didn't just decide, hey, I don't need these guys. It was more institutional thing where they were like, we can't pay for all these guys, get rid of them.
yeah,
And here I am defending this guy, but oh man, um, so yeah, America has 12 titles, Guadalajara has 12, Toluca has 10. See, they're not that far off. Cruz Azul has 8. If they win, they're gonna have 9. Just 3. And I could see that, with Pelaez on board, if he stays there long enough, I could see them winning. At least 2 campeonatos. UNAM, León, 7 each. Tigres 6, Santos 6, Pachuca 6. And then, further down is Monterrey with 4. But, um, yeah, Cruz Azul and Toluca. Toluca's been pretty close. They were finalists last season. That would have put them at 11. And and so yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how that changes in the next 10 years. Which uh, not all of those teams are gonna continue doing good, but I could still see them getting a few more campeonatos, especially teams like Tigres if they stay with Sinergia, um, which Cemex. I mean, Tigres stays with Cemex, who's just mad money. they
yeah,
they could continue piling the titles, and Santos if they continue working the way they've been doing things again.
yeah. Tigres is winning a title each year, except for this year. Oh, John will be on in 10 minutes. Cool.
Yes, I think he's.
Yeah, so America Cruz Azul is gonna. It's either gonna be America with 13 that'll put them up ahead. Of course, our man Rigo doesn't want that to happen.
he,
Being a
he
Chivas
doesn't
fan.
want. Yeah, but we promise not to talk too much about the goats. So
Yeah,
let's move on to the,
the
especially since
second.
they're not in the final. Yeah, yeah, no, Cruz Azul and yeah, and that's the thing with Cruz Azul, and this is the impressive thing about Cruz Azul. They have 10 runner-ups, so they've been subcampeones 10 times. That's
Yeah,
that's pretty impressive. They've been there a lot of times. Um, they've been there a lot of times, so we'll see which one they add. Are they gonna go to 11? And right now they're the subcampeonísimo because no other team has 10 runner-ups. America and Chivas both have 9. Toluca has 7, as does Pumas. Pumas is actually tied. 7 campeonatos to 7 runner-ups.
yeah,
So yeah, yeah, yeah. It'll be pretty interesting. And Monterrey has 4 campeonatos to 6 runner-ups. The last 2 back to back, which, ouch, that must have hurt. So close yet so far.
yeah, yeah. So in the next 10 years would be interesting. So okay, so for this matchup, Cruz Azul goes on. They had the better record, so they have the advantage, and they're in the final. And then I guess in the I guess we can go over the second series, first leg in Pumas America in Seoul. I didn't think it was too bad of a result, but Pumas tied America 1-1. Not ideal for your home game.
No, no, it wasn't. And
Diego
yeah,
Lainez scored.
yeah, very similar to the Cruz Azul Monterrey, where you want to take a bigger lead from the home game, especially knowing that a draw is gonna end up favoring the higher ranked team. So I think that ended up hurting Pumas. But I was expecting them to put up a bigger fight, Chiquis. I really thought, I was not. I don't think a lot of people were expecting what happened at the Azteca, man. I don't think people foresaw this massacre. It's pretty brutal, man. I had to stop watching.
Yeah, I like even after the 1-1 tie in the first leg, I thought, okay, that's not good, but there's still there's still fight in the Pumas team. But and I didn't see the full second game yet. I think I'm at the 32nd minute. That's at I think it's 2-1 or something, 3-1. But a lot of these first America goals that I did see were well, one of them was a just plain out mistake from the goalkeeper. He didn't control the ball being kicked back to him. He like halfway passed it, halfway dribbled it, and America recovered and it scored. They scored on him. The first goal as well was on the goalkeeper where it went underneath him. I think he's a good goalkeeper, but it was just these shots were like too hard for him, and everything was going well for America. Oh, the header that they scored, I think Uribe scored the second goal. Um, and it was just everything was going on target exactly like it was supposed to, and it just crumbled uh, for Pumas, which they can't afford. I mean, that's John probably has more insight into the play with Pumas, but I think they made a bunch of mistakes. They made mistakes and gave chances where they couldn't afford to do anything. They had to play a perfect game, which they were far from doing so.
I don't we have a song for Pumas?
Oh yeah,
We
the
we we,
choir, the chorus
we yeah,
for
we did. Sad. It's the sad flute for Pumas. That's one sad cat.
that's the cat. It's the cat choir.
his his milk got spilled. Uh,
It reminds me of a like a Tom and Jerry cartoon or
the
something.
old cartoons, yeah. The alley cat is all crying because he's by himself. Because they would do like the side cartoons, like you had Tom and Jerry just beating the crap out of each other, but every now and then they'll do like a different cat. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
they'll show some of the alley cats. Sometimes they would punk Tom. But with Pumas they had a great season. Going back to the whole hitting 30 points, that's that was huge for them. Especially if you want to get as far away as possible from the relegation chart. So, and then with their modest, because they had a modest squad, to so to they hit a lot of marks. I think that was all good, and it's not that disappointing to be eliminated in semifinales, but losing to America by 6-1,
yeah. That's
that is sorry, man. That's you just don't allow it, man.
yeah,
You just I think at maybe at 4 or even at 3-1, the Pumas should have just started throwing kicks and elbows, man. Which I was expecting more of that. It's like, and I was talking about I'm expecting to see a red card. You know, because that's just it's a rivalry, man. And if you don't want to go out like that bad, so you turn the match into Monday Night Raw. It's a battle royal, and and
Yeah.
yeah, we were talking to Ron the other day. He was reminding us of that America Chivas final, and then it turned into a batalla campal, and then Chivas that advanced ended up facing Puebla with they had suspended players, but I was expecting that from.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, it's profe, it's profe.
So
Um, did you see the?
Hey,
Well, we're talking Pumas America right now.
hey, Jolie. Are you guys off the air? The My phone shows you guys are off the air.
I don't
no, no,
know.
we're on.
You got
What's up, Victor? What's
pirata.
up, Jolie?
Hey
Yeah, I think
man,
my battery probably.
you got the pirata signal going.
I got the iPhone.
No, I was just telling Chiquis how when Pumas was at least down 3-1, they should have just turned the game into a batalla campal.
Throwing fists.
Like, hey, just it's a Royal Rumble now.
Argentine
It
style.
yes, man. It's no longer football. It's putazos now. and, and we've seen that. You guys have played Sunday Pub League. A lot of games would end that way, especially if one team was overly dominant. It was like, okay, now it turned into a hack fest.
Either you advance or you make sure the other team doesn't win their next series, huh?
Yeah, and I know some people are gonna say sore losers and all that, but you don't want to be humiliated. So it's not just being sore losers; it's protecting your rep. It's leaving a message that hey, we're nothing to mess with. And so yeah, I was a little let down by that. I wanted to see Monday Night Raw. I wanted to see that. I wanted to see the Royal Rumble right
Monday Night Raw.
there. Survivor Series, dude. So I wanted to see high flying kicks and all that, and it didn't happen, man.
When
You
when you
want to
say when you
see?
when you talk about it that way though, that makes that makes it worse, man. That makes the Pumas tears fall even harder and the saltiness come
Hey,
out. Because that just proves that like if you want to ever talk about being el papi de Pumas,
oh
that makes it even greater.
yeah,
They're so much their dad that they're not even gonna fight out. They're not even gonna sacar las uñas. They're just gonna
yeah.
sit there and take it.
They took it and then they made America a sandwich. They would
Yeah, and they, with their head looking down and stuff. All
he would cut out the crusts and put chips on the side and a cold beer. But it was wow. No, hey, it happens to a lot of teams. I keep saying I'm going to talk about the goats, but same thing happened to the goats. When Hugo Sanchez, the Pumas, 7-1, man. So I mean, I've been there. I know what it's like for not to sacar las uñas, and you just want to stop the hurt because at one point it's like, hey, you already won. Like, chill, man. At this point, you're just humiliating me.
yeah,
The shades of
yeah. So that was
Osvaldo Sanchez crying to the Hondurans.
Oh, he, yeah. Uh, but that was just because the game. I think they were both qualifying at that point, and he was
Yeah,
telling
they're
the
both
Honduras
qualified.
like, hey, relax, dude. No need to, no need to go out like that. Yeah, but I think it's been a while since we've seen a good fight. A good, just teams decide to go at it. I can't recall the last time I saw two teams that just started with the fisticuffs. And especially now with social media, if something like that happened, you'll have all these gifs and memes. So yeah, I can't recall
Hey,
it.
well
It's been. quite civilized.
I saw videos of the fans. They were I guess it got pretty crazy though.
Oh yeah, with the fans, it's that. Yeah, there's been a big rivalry. Pumas America has been huge, and yeah, they would take precautions when going into the stadium and all that. Yeah,
Right.
that
I saw a video. I don't know if that's the one you're talking about. There's a video of a Pumas fan just rolling down the stairs in the stadium. In the
he fought by himself though,
I don't know if someone threw. I don't know if someone threw him or someone
huh?
somebody
Damn.
or he tripped. He fell.
Oh man,
It looked bad though, man.
it looked bad. So
And then I
man,
think
we
in the uh in the uh in the stadium in the I guess the hallways or whatever. They were fighting and stuff, and security was getting in there trying to stop them.
have we have any lady Puma videos? Cause I would like to see that, or Puma kid crying again.
Just
But
Just that old
new
one.
new
just the old
material.
one.
No, but there's bound to be new material now, man. We do have Lady Boca. Chiquis, do you have that clip?
Yeah, Lady Boca.
Or Lady,
Oh, one second.
No sirve para
That's the old one.
That's the Pumas kid.
yeah.
Lady,
That's Jan.
Lady Boca.
That's Jan and Beto.
Oh man.
So Lady Boca is upset at who is at Shaleto, right? Shaleto.
Yeah, at the Boca Juniors coach,
Matt,
because he says that his tactical his tactics failed, that his cambios have hurt the team.
Yeah.
when he took out is that the one where he's complaining that he
sentimiento que cuando uno lo dice. Guillermo, andate a la reconcha de tu madre. Esa puta costumbre de no saber cuándo carajo hacer los cambios. Sacaste a Benedetto para poner a medio un cuarto de Guanchope. Pusiste a Teve cuando ya no había un carajo que hacer. Esa costumbre de no saber remontar un partido, de no saber aguantar un resultado y de hacer los cambios que nadie te pide que hagas. Andate a Brasil, a China, a Estados Unidos, donde carajo sea. Pero andate a la mierda de Boca, porque el bicampeonato me lo paso por el orto, porque muchas veces fuimos bicampeones, pero tengo las pelotas llenas de que no gane River, de que no gane amistoso, de que no gane la Supercopa, de que nos elimine un año al otro y ahora no gane la final. Guillermo, andate a la concha de tu madre.
Right.
I don't know, dude, she
Are they-
seems pretty coherent though. I mean,
Are
she's
you
pissed,
talking
but
about
it's a
pan dulce
coherent.
though? Because I eat conchas with milk or hot chocolate. Oh man.
She's pissed at the sub, the Benedetto, the Guanchope Benedetto sub.
Yeah, Benedetto opened the scoring. So we're talking about now Copa Libertadores Gran Final, which was played at the Santiago Bernabeu, and Boca opened the scoring, so they had the lead in the first half, and it was off a really good Benedetto goal, man. That pass that set him up, it was very nice, very, very nice stuff. And Benedetto he's a Mexican national, so I wouldn't be surprised if he does get called up to the selección, just because you have some players like Uribe retiring soon. Or at least he's gonna be too old for the next World Cup, and then there's not that many like Pulido. He's been taken to the selección and he's done nothing much, and the Saldivar kid as well. So I think Benedetto, if he's available, they're gonna use him.
I think he'd be third string or fourth string though, dude. You still got Raul Jimenez.
You do, yeah, but you don't count on those
I think,
players all the time.
and you got Cheech. He'll still be around, I'm sure.
Cheech and Bella. No, I know, but you have a lot of muleros, and then you always have injuries, and you have suspensions, and you have drop in form. So I mean, you do want those extra players, or players that are in a good position. And that Boca team had 4 ex-Liga MX players in the
Is that why they
squad.
lost?
It's no, I think that's what made them competitive, man. I think that team wasn't going to be as strong as they should have been, as well as they currently are. But I think they're going up against Muñeco and Gallardo, he's lining up to be one of the Argentina's next top coaches. What he's doing right now, eh, dare I say it, is more than even Bielsa achieved at that age. He's and more than like Simeone, and I think, and I'm gonna have to check, but I think he's already River Plate's most successful coach. He beat Pelado Diaz. So Pelado Diaz was like he was their gallo, but now it's El Muñe, and he should probably be making the jump to Europe soon. But he's been pretty consistent, and he's been very successful. I think that kind of hurt, Boca to go up against that coach, man. He's if you could say he's kind of like. I mean, I wouldn't put him up to that level right now to say he's like Sisu or Pep, but that's the closest we get when you talk about like football in Latin America to a coach that's been winning that much. That's that's Gallardo, which America tried to get like a season or two back, but he's
Did you say
he's
Chip?
been meh.
You say
I don't
Chip?
know. I said Pep, not Chef. Chef,
Oh, I
Chef
thought you said
is
Chip.
like is taking a sabbatical. Why you always gotta go there? You
No, no,
know,
no. I'm just trying to. I
it's
thought I heard you say
opening
Chip.
moons, throwing salt. No,
No,
Pep.
no, not at all.
If
I
I
I,
did,
I
if I
didn't
did, it
realize
was
that.
a slip. If I did, it was a slip up. But oh no. Uh,
It's a
no,
Freudian.
Gallardo, man. Yeah, man. But Gallardo is something else. Uh, let's let's look at let's look at his success. And dude, did you guys notice that the goalie kept going up, even though Schelotto kept telling them to not, and the goalie kept running up? That's
Yeah,
gonna be, yeah,
yeah. That guy lost the team or
for the
the
third goal, he was at fault.
yeah
Man,
they were talking about that. The narrators were talking about the goalie that the coach kept telling him go back, and
yeah,
this
and
guy didn't care. He's like,
yeah, back to Gallardo. Dude, he's 42. He's very young. He's a very young coach. Um, and already, you know, hold on, where's his manager? Yeah, I, this thing doesn't show me his stats. Here he is. Um,
well, you know what, Jolie, you could probably compare him to what? Oh man, what's the Atletico Madrid coach?
wait, no,
Uh,
I got him. Atletico Madrid.
Simeone.
I
Simeone. Maybe
I
he's
just said, God damn it, Juan, you weren't paying attention. I did.
no,
He
no, no.
already
I just heard you say Chep, and then I kind of like
then and
then
then
my
you
ears kind
zoned
of
out.
yeah,
You
like I zoned out. I don't know if it's like like you seen that gif of that dog, like he sees like a cake and he's got like flashbacks of all kinds of traumatic shit.
no,
I think
I
that's what
saw
happened to
one,
me,
but
dude.
the dog is under the bed. There's some coitus going on top, and the dog is like a little dog. It's under the bed, and he's like Vietnam.
No,
No,
no, this
no.
one's yeah, he's eating a cake. He's getting ready to eat a cake, but he's like a really old dog, and then he has
Oh
flashbacks of like
man,
the war and all kinds of shit, dude.
I need to see that. But no. Well, I mean, if you were comparing them to like Simeone, you know, we would just have to compare to how Simeone did in in Argentina, and he wasn't there that long, so probably not fair comparison. But as a manager, he was he won the Uruguay Primera División, which was 2011-2012, and then with River Plate, he won the Copa Sudamericana in 2014. He won the Recopa Sudamericana in 2015 and 2016. He won the Libertadores twice now, 2015, which was when they beat Tigres. In 2018, he won the, I don't know what this is, Suruga Bank Championship. Just must have been, I don't even know why they added this, man. It's like Copa Danone. It's like, must have been some, he's won the Argentine Cup twice and the Supercopa Argentina. So man, he really put up a couple trophies up there, you know, as a manager already. Doesn't say the league though. I'm pretty sure he's won the league.
So, speaking of gifs or videos and stuff, the hilarious thing that I saw this morning was, I noticed, what's his name? Who scored the first goal for Boca? Or the only goal for Boca?
Benedetto. On the which game? On the
the second
final
game.
final?
Yeah, the final. He like sticks his tongue out at the one of the defenders, and he goes and celebrates. And I was like, oh man, that's messed up. And then this morning I saw some guy with a picture of him sticking his tongue out, and then he was like turning the paper of today's morning paper in Argentina of River being the champions and stuff like that, and he was sticking his finger on the guy's tongue on his screen to flip the to moisten his fingers and flip the paper. It's hilarious. I don't know what that celebration was all about.
Yeah, man. So yeah, he's on his way there, Gallardo. He's gonna be one of their next big coaches if he stays on track.
Ah, yes. Yeah, that was some entertaining drama. The whole.
Yeah, you know, I didn't want Boca to win because I think it was very shady what they were trying to do to win it by the court, and then even take it a task to which is the kind of the international, because they wanted CONMEBOL to rule it, and if CONMEBOL ruled against them, they were gonna take it to like the international board, like the Court of Sports Arbitration or something like that. They call it a TAS, and I mean that's like, man, why do you want to win it like that? They were making what happened, their bus being assaulted, into a bigger deal than it actually was.
Serves them right.
Yeah, justice ended up in the right spot.
They could have won the game at the Monumental fair and square, but they had to go through this pendejada that they did, and it serves them right to get their ass kicked.
They did. At far away. At another stadium.
They had to fly 14 hours to get their ass kicked.
They were even infecting Spain. They were infecting Spain with their craziness. Like in the bars in Spain, there's videos of fans fighting and causing a ruckus.
Se siente aquí en el corazón. Ustedes no entienden la pasión que tenemos. Please.
Yes.
Please. So, Chiquis, are you feeling okay, Chiquis? Or did you have you gotten over?
Yeah, I didn't stab any walls, but I had a headache from grunting and holding back tears and stuff.
Seriously?
Yeah.
You were gonna cry?
No. I was.
Chiquis said the clausura starts in 2 weeks, man.
Oh, 2 more weeks.
Yeah.
That's soon, great. Man. So soon.
I'm gonna be in. Maybe I'll try to go to a game. Maybe I'm gonna be in Guadalajara in January.
What are you gonna do in Guadalajara?
Got a wedding to go to.
Wait, what days? What days in January, Chiquis?
Oh, January 16th.
Oh man.
Wednesday. 17th,
Yeah.
18th, 19th.
Wow. There's a small chance I might be around there around those times.
Oh,
Small
cool.
chance though. Small chance. I'll let you know though.
Yeah. I'm gonna go get some tacos or some stuff. I know a friend in Guadalajara who has a taco stand.
Like
Is his name Luis?
Oscar.
When I was a kid, I'd tell people I was from Mexico City. Oh, I've been to Mexico City. Do you know a guy named Luis?
Oh, jeez.
Oh man, do they know it's over 20 million people live there?
50
No,
million.
probably won't. I mean, these are Americans we're talking about, so probably not.
Yeah, it's man, Mexico City's huge.
I mean, when I left, it was like, I think it was only like 11 or 12. It's like 29 now. It's just insane.
Wow. Yeah.
More
And
people live in Mexico City than live in Texas.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
It's infested. And I say that with the highest respect. You know, it's funny about that game last night. I was, you know, when Pumas was down, actually, first thing I was watching the Cowboy game, I totally forgot about it.
Oh.
About the Pumas game because I was so into the Cowboy game. And oh yeah, so I turned it on. It was 2-1. Thinking, well, this is okay. You know, if they get one goal, they're through. And you know, so there was a third. And I know that people want to blame the goalkeeper for it, and he did make a bad. But the dude that passed it to him, I mean, come on, you know, you can't put your keeper in a situation like that. I mean, it was as much his mistake as it was the goalkeeper's. Now the goalkeeper didn't do a very good job of clearing the ball, but I mean, you know, he was put in a terrible bind. You know, the 3-1 was surmountable, but when it went 4-1, I told my wife, I said, "Well, I could go to sleep now. I don't have to worry about watching the rest of this thing because I had to get up early this morning." But it's just a shame that Pumas had such a good season for it to end like that. It was, you know, is America 6 goals better than Pumas? Probably not. But you know, last night one of those things happened, and you know, you move on, and that's just how it is.
I think all season I was thinking Pumas is playing better than their current talent or their current better than expected, and I was waiting for it to all crumble down. Not huge like this, but sort of okay. They're going to lose 3 in a row or 4 in a row in the league, but it never happened, and they got 30 points, and then this happened. So it sort of like culminated to they saved up all their sucky play for this one final game.
Yeah, it was just unfortunate. I mean, it was, you know, it's one thing to lose a match when you're beaten, but you know, the unfortunate thing for Pumas was that they beat themselves. I mean, there was a lot of unforced errors, and you know, America had one of those nights where, you know, the unforced error just happened. You know, they just happened to make the plays, and you know, then that stuff happens. I mean, it was an unfortunate circumstance for Pumas, but it doesn't take anything away from the season ahead. And frankly, Chiquis, the reality for Pumas was, you know, it's after last season where they had 13 points in the Apertura total, 13 points out of 17 games, and so they needed a season. I mean, I was hoping they would get, like, you know, if they got, you know, 23, 24, 25, I would have been thrilled. But 30 points goes a long way into making sure that they don't necessarily have to deal as much with relegation as if they would have had a couple of seasons in the teens, like some other folks did. So that to me was the key. You know, they did beat Tigres in the quarterfinals. I mean, and that's no small feat. I mean, it wasn't like Tigres gave it to them. I mean, Pumas went out and won that, and you know, and Tigres, you know, has been essentially the team of the decade in the 2010s in Liga MX. I don't think anybody will deny that. So Pumas did get a good win. Yeah, it was unfortunate that it happened, but I got to tell you, you know, as tough as it is to see Pumas win, you know, the fact that we have a really good Clásico for the Liga MX final, I think it's terrific for the league. It's outside of a Chivas America final, I think it's the final that at least the TV folk would want to have. We talked about it last week on the show, Chiquis, Joel and I. There's a reason why Cruz Azul is as popular as ours, because they won a boatload of titles for many years, and have always been consistently a very strong team. Consistently. That's why they have as many fans as they do. And so we're gonna see that, and they're gonna play both at the Azteca. I mean, they've had some great finals in the past. I do think that America might have the edge statistically, but I think that intangibles all favor Cruz Azul. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I have a nephew who he's like in his lower 20s, and when he was smaller, he was a Cruz Azul fan. And then after a while, after I guess their subcampeonissimo results and all this stuff, he all of a sudden became a Tigres fan. And so hopefully, I think that might be a trend with that age group. And then hopefully, with this new Cruz Azul and the good results that they're having, they get back the fan base, which it seems like they have. The stadium seemed pretty exciting on their side.
Yeah.
The thing I was wondering was with the tie with Monterrey, are they not going to be as confident? And then will America be overconfident, beating in such a huge way of Pumas, where even like Tigres fans are lamenting their loss? They're like, how could we lose to Pumas? Like, what does that tell us about our team and stuff like that? So it should be an interesting mix of overconfidence.
That is just a ridiculous. I mean, no offense to Joel, but that's like minimizing Mexico's win over Germany because South Korea beat. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
They're unrelated. It is an unrelated. It doesn't mean anything. But a lot of people my age, and of course I'm in my. So when does the late 40s happen? Is it at 7 or at 8? Because I'm at 7 right now. I'm at 7. I'm 47. So am I still in the mid 40s, or have I graduated into the late 40s?
I'd say 8, John.
Thank you, Joel.
You're welcome. Yeah.
So people my age, people in their mid 40s, like if you see like the Leon Krauses and the Paco Villas of the world, guys that are mid maybe even early 50s, 9 times out of 10 they're going to be Cruz Azul fans, and it's because when we were growing up, they were the glamour team of Liga MX and were for a long time. So a lot of, especially in Mexico City, I mean, I can't really remember, maybe because I just didn't follow it as much, but I think Chivas back then was kind of, they really didn't really amount to anything in the 70s and 80s. They just...
No, they even had a relegation. They even had a relegation scare.
So, yeah, so it was... The dominant teams of that era were Cruz Azul, Pumas, and Tigres. Those were the 3 best teams in Liga MX that were for a long time. I mean, Club America didn't start getting good again until the mid '80s, and then they had their little run of championships there as well. So if people are wondering, how on earth does Cruz Azul have all these fans? It's because they won a shitload of stuff for a long time and played. And even if they didn't win, they were always in the thick of stuff. Always. They had been a very good team for a very, very long time. They might have had a couple of seasons where they didn't make the Liguilla, but that is a complete anomaly. Cruz Azul has always, I mean, we're talking from the late 60s to now, 50 years. It is impressive how much they've been able to stay as consistent as they have. You can't say that about any other team in Liga MX. You can't say it about Club America. You certainly can't say it about Chivas. You can't say it about Pumas, but you can't say it about Cruz Azul.
So this was in the long season. I'm looking at their titles. Joel was mentioning the titles. So they won 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 72, 73, 73, 74, and then the gap to 78, 79, and then 79, 80. They won like 3 in a row or something? 4 in a row?
Yeah.
All through the 70s? That's crazy. Long season.
Great. Joel, was Cristobal Ortega,
Was he what?
was he a Cruz Azul? Cristobal Ortega?
No, I don't know. I don't know about that one, Yon.
We would have to consult the Citadel, but I guess the Citadel.
He was here earlier.
Did he have his 5 minutes of gloating?
But you know, Cristobal Ortega. I'm looking at in my archives, and he was a Club America player.
Oh, was it America?
Yeah.
I can't remember the names. It's been a long time. They had really good teams, and of course Miguel Marin, who was,
El Superman. He's
outside of Picolín, the greatest goalie that ever played in the United
he's remembered for scoring an own goal. He grabbed the ball and he tried to throw it, and when he swung the ball back, it went into his. Well, the ball didn't go into his net, but it crossed the line.
Oh, it went into his net.
Oh, he dropped it.
Right.
Oh,
it's like he hesitated. It's like he hesitated, like he was going to throw it somewhere, and then he second guessed himself, and in the act of trying to stop what he was doing, he ended up throwing the ball behind him and he went into the net. You can watch it on YouTube.
I had just seen pictures. That's why I thought he just swung his arm back. I never seen the actual clip. I had just seen pictures.
Yeah, you can call up the clip on the they're on the page there, Chiquis. Or all you just do like Error Miguel Marin, and it comes up.
Man, I'm looking at Cruz Azul's kit from 1971. It looks very nice. They should definitely.
Cruz Azul's what?
Their football kit from 1971.
Oh yeah.
It looks very nice. I would. Yeah, the logo, everything. I would definitely go back to that.
I got to tell you, the Cruz Azul Femenil logo is outstanding. It's really cool. And they play in the Diez de Diciembre, which when I was a kid, Cruz Azul would play there either once or twice a year, because that was back at in Cruz Azul Hidalgo, back at the factory. They play at the factory stadium every so often. So, and that's where the Femenil plays, which I think is really groovy. Of course, when I said the Diez de Diciembre, people look at me like, "What are you talking about?" I'm an old fart. What can I say? What can I say?
Diez de Diciembre. Isn't there a Diez de Marzo or something also?
Well, there's a Tres de Marzo.
Tres de Marzo. That's Tecos Stadium.
Tecos, yeah.
It's a really small stadium. It's very nice. I've been there twice. I went to see a friendly once, which was Tecos versus León, and Winaldo was supposed to be there. I think he tried out, but I think eventually the deal fell through. But I was in Mexico, and I saw a Chivas versus Monterrey game. The Jalisco had been loaned out for I think it was Maná concert or Chente, one of the two. And the pitch was in no condition, and then Chivas was already eliminated from qualifying to Liguilla, so they played their last game of the season at the and
so
I got
5,000 in the stadium doesn't look as bad at the 3 de marzo
Yeah.
de Jalisco.
As well. I got to see Tano de Nigris. You know, I got to see him play, and Eduardo Isela, he was pretty promising at one point,
Was
and
Cabrito
he just
there too?
no, I think you know what? But I don't know if he played. Yeah, I think he had already made the switch to the Rayados. But I remember I was keeping my tabs on Isela and the Nigris. Those were at that point some of the young talents were looking to, and they were both called up by Los Mesa at that point. Yeah, but it was for both.
Yeah, the 3 de marzo. So Guadalajara played at the Jalisco. So the other group game was played at the 3 de marzo. So Spain played 2 games there. Actually, yeah, Spain played 2 games there. Well, I take it back. Spain only played 1 game there because they played another game in Monterrey. And who was it? Algeria played 2 games there. Morocco played it. They scored a fantastic goal against Portugal at the 3 de marzo. Nesa was also a World Cup stadium.
Oh yeah, it was Nesa 86, right?
Yep. That's where that was Germany played. Their home base was Querétaro. And then in Nesa, Denmark played 2 games in Nesa, one in Querétaro. Nesa was where Denmark humiliated Uruguay 6-1. Kind of like what Club America did to Pumas over the weekend. A rough humiliation.
Yeah, it's interesting. All these former World Cup stadiums that no longer would seem fitting. You see them now, and you'll be surprised that a World Cup was held there. Just how some of them match up, to current stadiums.
Oh,
3 de marzo is very, very modest. 3 de marzo, man. It's smaller than, per reference, it's way smaller than the Home Depot Center.
I mean, there's 3 de marzo. There's Nesa Irapuato hosted games. France was based in León. They played at the Nou Camp.
Yeah, but Nou Camp was pretty big stadium. So I mean, props. But 3 de marzo they look like a college soccer stadium.
Right.
It's like you're going to ELAC.
It looks like a USL stadium.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it was.
Watch an A-League. If you're going to go watch an A-League.
I mean, 3 de marzo is on the campus of UADG, which is a private university.
It is. That's true. But Tecolotes, which is
yeah.
I think they disbanded the team, John. I don't remember.
Well, they disbanded, and then they became Coras de Tepic, and now I think, if I'm not mistaken, they're either Mineros de Zacatecas.
Oh, well, I know what happened there. Well, I mean, if they sold the franchise, yeah, because the Leaños, see, and it goes full circle. The Leaño family, it's a pretty wealthy family in Guadalajara. How wealthy they had stock in Mex Lube, which was the corporation that at one point
is Mex Lube what America used last night, or did they?
It's a lubricant, yeah. But Mex Lube and no, Mex Lube now is now known as Acron. Acron now, it's Acron. and which sponsors the Chivas Stadium. But that's the Leaños, and so the Leaños had a stock in the lubricant, which was which was Martinez Garza, who had the promotora. So they had Chivas for, they kind of rented out the club for like a decade.
Uh,
But the Leaño, so the Leaño family pretty much they ran Tecos. They kind of, oh, you could say they owned the
well,
franchise.
they own the university.
Oh, they owned the. It goes even, wow, more. Yeah, wow. The rabbit hole goes deeper. So yeah,
And
and
have you ever heard of Isla Navidad,
no sir,
the
no I
resort?
haven't. Oh, them too, huh?
Yeah, it's between Manzanillo and Mazatlan and Barra Navidad. They have a
Well,
really nice golf course there. They own that
oh,
too.
well, Higuera's the guy that bought the franchise for Tecos because they tried relaunching it a few years back as Estudiantes Tecos. No, not Tecos, just Estudiantes, I believe it
Yeah,
was.
well, they rebranded as Estudiantes when they were still in Liga MX.
And
And
they look like Harry Potter
and then,
uniforms.
right, and Piojo couldn't save. Piojo was their last
That's right.
first division coach.
They brought in Piojo to try to save him. That I almost forgot that. See, it's going full circle, man. Nowhere else, gentlemen. If you're listening, and I listen to all the other podcasts. They're not taking you as deep into the rabbit hole. Um, so yeah, but just going back to Higuera, he bought the franchise, so he made it Coras Tepic. And when Liga MX changed the rules to who qualifies for a first division team, that's when he's like, oh, I'm out, and he took it to Zacatepec.
Right.
So that's
And when we had our friend of the show, Michel Richaud, on.
Oh, that's right. That's right. We had him right.
Live. Now, when you say
But wait, John, one last.
the one podcast go as deep as what America did to Pumas last night.
Oh man, no wait. One last thing before I forget. Leaño is now working at Chivas.
Marcel.
Yes, he's there now. So I mean, it's it's always the same people there, man. The more things change, the more they stay the same.
Right, and he was the one that Michel was. He was coaching obviously at Zacatepec, and then they went to coach at Necaxa. And he was very, and he was also coaching somewhere else before Necaxa.
Well, yeah. Well, his family's obviously pouring money into Chivas right now. I wouldn't be surprised if that's where some of the income is coming, because Chivas has yet to renegotiate their TV contracts. But they've been hard at work at bringing in players, and they're saying he's going to be next in line after Cardoso steps out. And so I wouldn't be surprised, man, if. And there's even the talk that the club might sell, and that's always one of the families that
it would be a natural fit. Then they move him over to the 3 de Marzo. And...
No, it's just to say it's just one of the families that's been there that has money, that has the clout, but yeah. Well, goddamn.
Well, of course, you can't forget the greatest defender in Liga MX history, Cheto Leaño.
El Cheto, yes, he would.
You can only wonder how he got his game. It was a miracle that he was able to stay on the team for as long as he. No, but remember when Piojo was at Estudiantes Tecos, he brought a lot of big guns to try and save him. Including Ruben Sambueza. So when Piojo went to Club America, and one of the players he wanted to bring with him was Ruben Sambueza. The laughter, the ridicule that Piojo endured for bringing Ruben Sambueza over from Tecos, Now, Ruben Sambuesa started off at Pumas before he even went to Tecos. Was insane, and of course, the rest is history. Sambuesa ended up having a stellar career at Club America and won a couple of titles. And Piojo does not have that luxury, and he won't have a defense as soft as what Pumas turned into against Cruz Azul, because that was, to me, and when I was watching the Cruz Azul Monterrey game, when Cruz Azul gets the goal that they need in order to advance, I mean, they put Monterrey, a very talented offensive team, extremely strongest offensive teams in CantinaMX. They put the clamps on them, something fierce, and Monterrey didn't even get a shot off on goal the last half hour. They didn't even come close to smelling what the goal mouth smelled like at all. They had no business. So I do believe that defense wins championships, and I think that Cruz Azul has a much stronger defense than Club America. I think that, in my opinion, is what's going to help them.
And they have, John, what I was telling Chiquis, I was saying Pelaez is the Danny Ocean to America's Pelayo, man. He knows the in and out of that club, right. and he knows Piojo. And we should have had the clip, but there is a clip of Piojo talking about working with Pelaez, and he says how he would go over the tactics with him, and Pelaez worked with him not only at Selección but at America. So I mean, if someone has a good understanding of how someone works, of what they like to do, that's Pelaez, man. If you have that type of intel, you feed it to Caixinha. That's to me, it's pretty invaluable right there.
No, it is. He knows what his strengths are. He knows what his weaknesses are. He knows the moves that he makes. Now, to Piojo's credit, Piojo has evolved. He has evolved in the 4 years since he coached the national team. So, as much as Pelaez does know him,
yeah,
and he does know him pretty well. Piojo might have some tricks up his sleeve as well. So we have to.
But he also knows the players, Jon. And there's little quirks here, and we've seen it like in soccer, how sometimes you have like national teams that faced off, and the players from opposite teams would have played in the same club, and you'll see how the goalie would say, yeah, well, my teammate told me that this guy likes to shoot to the right, so I dove to the right when it was his turn, So even little things like that, where him knowing like the free kick where this guy's most likely to aim, or someone's gonna go for the penalty where they're more successful shooting at, those are small little details that to me can make a difference.
It's not just that. I mean, I also tend to think that Lady Luck está pintado celeste, because Cruz Azul missed the penalty against Monterrey.
Yeah.
In prior years, that would have been devastating. That would have been the end of it. Lady Máquina and Lady Cementera would have one crying, one angry, would have been just absolutely devastated. But that same guy, Caraglio, was able to get the goal to push him over the top. That is no small feat. I mean, that is, that's why I think that the intangibles favor Cruz Azul. I know that people think that America is a heavy favorite. Why they think they're a heavy favorite, I have no idea. Because Cruz Azul has been a better team. They're better defensively. They have a much more I'm not gonna say direct attack, but they have a much more balanced attack. They got just as good as strikers and wingers and everything else. They have a young player just like America does that can do stuff. I mean, it is balanced, and I do think that Now, of course, I would have wanted to see Cruz Azul Pumas, but I'm just as happy with watching a Cruz Azul America, and it should be. It's going to be a Thursday, Sunday, so it should be. It should be very, very entertaining, and I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to watching it. It should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, this Thursday, right? So the first.
Yeah, sure.
And then what? Saturday or Sunday?
Sunday night.
Grand final. The grand final. We will have a new league champion.
Now it's not going to be good as the grand finale we had on Christmas night a few years ago, which is outstanding. What a great way. We would be remiss if we didn't mention that also this week, las Super Chivas Rayadas de Guadalajara are going over to the UAE, the Emirates, to play their first game in the Club World Cup, where they'll be playing the Kashima
Antlers. Yes.
A team that is one of the strongest and most traditional of the J League teams. Anybody that watched Japan in the World Cup knows that the J League is not to be taken lightly. I personally don't consider Guadalajara to be a favorite in this game at all. I think Kashima Antlers are probably going to be a little stronger than people think. If Guadalajara does get by, pretty big accomplishment for them.
Hey, one thing about the J League, for years they've invested a lot of money, and they brought a lot of, especially Brazilians. They've taken a lot of Brazilian coaches and managers and former players. I think even Zico was there for a long time. They just, and it's benefit them. It's very similar to how Liga MX for years. Well, I mean, they still do, still do it with the Argentines. They bring in a lot of Argentines in all levels. A lot of times fans don't realize just how many more there are. As they're just off camera as just even as just coaches, youth coaches or goalkeeper coaches and all that.
Hola, chingas de madre, Chivas. Vamos América. Vamos.
Oh, damn.
América esta noche.
You're exactly right.
Was that the same guy that traveled?
And let's not forget, Joel, that in the last World Cup, Japan was 10 minutes away from knocking out Belgium. I mean, they should have won that game. They should have. They just. I mean, they were up 2-0. Could have scored at least 2 or 3 more. I mean, played. And in my opinion, outside of nobody, I'm going to say it. Japan played the most attractive soccer of the World Cup, by far. They just played a great brand of soccer, and I think that this is something that's going to continue. I think Japan are at the press. They're kind of like where Mexico has been for the past 30 years. It hasn't taken Japan as long to get there, but they are at the precipice, in my opinion, of becoming a top 10 national team power.
Well, and the same thing that hurts Mexico hurts them is they have to compete in a weak region.
Right.
I would even say it's weaker than CONCACAF.
Oh, it is. There's no question.
So yeah, that's hurt them at both club and national team level, which is like one of the reasons they try to. I mean, they're playing Copa America, if I'm not mistaken, which they've done in the past. Right. At least once in the past, they've competed at, which is again the parallels with Mexico, because that was one of the things Mexico knew they had to do. Was like, ultimately we're gonna have to go outside of the Confederation if we want to, if we want to test ourselves. go up against the stronger teams.
Yeah, I would like Mexico to play Japan on a pretty regular basis, honestly. If you're going to play a Molero, bring Japan, because they'll come. They will happily come. They have a pretty big fan base in this country too. So, yeah, I mean, again, I'm not saying that Chivas is going to get run off the pitch, but this is not an easy game.
No.
And anyone that thinks it's easy just because it's Japan, it's Asia, this is. I mean, it's Chivas are good. Chivas have their hands full, and frankly, I personally don't consider them favorites. But I'm not saying that they're massive underdogs. I think it's like a 57-43 split. But I do think that the Japanese team is a little strong. And how unfortunate is it for Chivas to if they're able to make it past this game, instead of drawing River Plate, they're drawing Real Madrid. And I'm not saying that they beat River Plate, but I mean, for the first time in the history of this newly formatted Club World Cup last year, Pachuca gets by their first game, and then they draw. Who was it? The Brazilian team. It was. I want to say it's like Porto Alegre. I forget who it was, but anyway, they drew the Brazilian team, and they didn't. They took them to extra time, and the Brazilian team finally won it in extra time. But had they drawn, Real Madrid or Barcelona, or they're just going to get their asses beat. I mean, it's just, Cruz Azul, Club America, and Club America, they've gotten through. Oh, and Atlante, freaking Atlante. Atlante was ahead. They got through the first round, but instead of playing the South American team, they either played Barcelona or Real Madrid. And it's nearly impossible task for them to win that game. But I will say this: I would much rather them have that impossible task to win that game in the final than the semifinal. And the Mexican team just hasn't had that up. They have a much better chance of reaching the final by playing the South American team than they do the European team.
Yeah. And then we have to take into consideration just River Plate is going to be tired just from all that traveling.
Well, sure, but again, Joel, it is River Plate. River Plate is a very strong South American team and has been for 100 years. But it's not the River Plate of 1986 or even 1996. I mean, it is a River Plate that is light years behind how good River Plate used to go to the Club World Cup and win it with ease. They would have no problem beating whoever they put in front of them. They were a really strong team. That's just not the case anymore. I mean, a lot of the South American teams, unfortunately, have really good players that leave when they're 17, 18, 19 years old.
Yeah.
So they don't even get a chance to enjoy the fruits of their work.
Yeah, they get poached. They get poached at such an early age. It has really hurt, that tournament, which is, it continues to provide a lot of talent. A lot of the players and coaches that do good end up going to Europe. So that's.
No, I mean, it's obviously
right there.
Huge, Argentine players, but River Plate, because of that, they've started poaching other South American teenagers for their team. I mean, how many players have come out of River Plate that weren't Argentine over the past 10, 15 years? Quite a few.
Yeah, they started getting Colombianos and
Radamel Falcao was a River Plate guy.
Yeah, Falcao.
Was a River Plate guy.
And before Falcao, the one guy before Falcao, he played at the EPL for years. Angel. what's his name? Angel?
Is it Juan Carlos Angel?
I believe so. Really tall. He was brought in to replace Crespo. And
Right. And James came out of River Plate. Beto Garcia Aspe.
he was he came out of Pumas though.
Oh, he did. He did. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. But that's the guy that led me to River Plate.
Pumas? Well, you know what's wrong with Pumas right now? That. Where's the next? The Beto Garcia is supposed to come out every 2 years. Now we get a Gallardo every 10. That's what's wrong with Pumas.
Yeah, I think you had teams. I think once a lot of Liga MX teams started investing in youth, and it sort of started competing with Pumas for the talent. So you had Toluca, Pachuca's been one of the big ones, and they're not too far,
America.
And then,
well, they've always kind of sort of done it, but not to the.
Yeah.
Again, for the younger folk that are maybe they're listening to this podcast for the first time, and I won't tire myself saying this, but for the better part of 30 years, I'm not saying that because I'm a Pumas fan. I'm saying it because it's the fact. More good players came out of Puma 1970 to the year 2000 than any other team in the league, and it's not even close.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the reality.
The amount of talent.
But they got fat on it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think
they got fat on it.
Yeah, all these clubs started investing more, and I guess just Pumas dropped the ball right there where they needed to now. It was going to be more expensive to do the youth as compared to before where they were like, that was their main thing,
Well, a lot of it, and I wish Ron was on because he could, attest to it, is that they don't, they had the Patronato, which was, they were underwritten, they weren't sponsored. And, if you go from CantinaMX to whatever Banco is on your shirt right now, of a name that I couldn't tell you what it is, that's a pretty big patron that is no longer underwriting your program, which is what CantinaMX did for many years. So, of course, CantinaMX is now City CantinaMX. But anyway, what were we talking about, Boy?
We were talking about how River Plate started getting youth from South America because how they've been getting pillaged for their talent.
Exactly, and what it's done, unfortunately, is that it's weakened not just Argentina, but the majority of South America, and then a tournament that it is imperative for not just Liga MX, excuse me,
bless you.
But for MLS teams to play in as well.
Yeah, it is.
It has to happen.
Yeah, the TV money will be a huge boost, and
even if it's not the Libertadores, the North American teams and the South American teams have to play in a tournament every year. It has to happen.
And John, it's going to come down, once they have that extra money, they could give these guarantees to their youth players. Because I know a lot of them would stay. Not all of them want to leave. And not all of them that leave end up doing good. A lot of them get lost in the shuffle. They just leave because they see...
Mexico. Think of Mexico. So we have, there's 10 guys in Europe.
Yeah.
2, maybe 3 out of 10 guys, 2, maybe 3 make it. So there's 400 Argentines in Europe. So so how many have gone over to try out?
Yeah,
12, 13, 1400.
Yeah, Yeah, and they disappear, man. You won't hear about them again. They end
No,
up in
they don't
Malaysia
disappear.
or
They
China
end up
third
in
division.
Taiwan. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
No, even
I
those
mean, there's
random.
Argentines that play in El Salvador.
Yeah, there is. Well, you know who was playing over there was Luis Suarez's brother, a lesser known Suarez. But
Pepito
he
Suarez.
was at Metapan. Yeah, how do I know this? But but yeah,
Yeah, but
even
it is unfortunate. But that's why, to me, and this is some actually, I give full credit to Ron for having the the vision to see how massive a tournament like this would be. If there was a Pan American uh, club soccer tournament held in North and South America, it could rival the Champions League. It could.
yeah, it would, and they would be able to keep players because once there's more money, the club could offer better guarantees to their young talent.
Right.
Who when some of these European clubs come in, from like Ukraine and Greece, some of these random places, they'll be more likely to stay and be like, no, my whole family's here and I'm making good money. There's always that criticism on why Mexican players don't go abroad, and it's like because for the most part they don't have to. They're
Right.
pretty comfortable. And I mean, don't leave if there's a good club knocking at your door. I would say you don't have to leave just to make a few extra bucks, and you're gonna be playing somewhere in Russia
Right. It's
or
not an economic advantage for you to leave
the
to go from
Romanian league. Yeah,
Rayados exactly to play in literally culture. But like you said, if you because it's that's why I mean, Linus is on the precipice of becoming the next America. And you know what? That's great. Let him play one. If he's 19, and and he's starting to get much more playing time, and in the next Clausura he's going to get even more playing time. Then he's going to have a Gold Cup. He's going to have the Olympics. But by the Olympics, he should already be gone.
yes,
If Diego Lainez, if he has a halfway decent season, in the next Clausura, isn't at a G16 team by this time next year, I will be shocked. Shocked.
yeah.
Because if he makes the move, he's not making the move to, he's not going to Huelva or some schmo club and
Getafe.
exactly. Well, first of all, they would never afford him, but someone's going to pay 40 to 50 million to take him to play somewhere very special.
Yon, I think he could probably break the record. Right now this record belongs to
Nery Castillo.
no.
You
Jimenez just broke it. If Wolves does the transfer, it's gonna be 38 million pounds, which would be about 40 million.
By the way, kudos to Raul Jimenez.
Yeah.
All sorts of he is having a terrific season. They love him. They love him.
Yeah, he's been good. And then Chucky, who knows? I'm not. I don't know. I don't know how. Because doing good in Holland is one thing. Doing good in DPL is another. But he's up there, man. He might. If someone breaks his record, it could be Chucky. But I still. I'll see. I'll put that on hold. But yeah, I think someone like Ness could command some pretty big transfer fees, especially if he does good in the. Hello?
He's going to or a Valencia, and
Yeah.
but it's going to cost. America's not going to let him 13.
No.
They'll let him go for 40.
Yeah. Well, Jimenez left for 25. So let's round it out to 30. 30.
Yeah. I mean, with his age, it's really special. He's got no look goal.
Hello? You sort of cut out. I couldn't hear.
Last time, when was the last time you saw a player score a no-look goal the way that Lightness scored last week?
Oh yeah. I'd have
A
to go
no-look, not Magic Johnson no-look pass for a basket. He wasn't looking at the goal, shot went in. That's pretty good.
So this brings us up a comparison to Alexis Vega, who's just a little bit older, but he went to Chivas, of course, for I don't know how much, and a lot of people are complaining about him not going to Europe. So I don't see Alexis Vega doing huge things.
Was there any offer from Europe? I don't remember hearing anything from any club. I mean, some of these fans are just, it's ridiculous. What, would you just go? Was he supposed to just take the next bus down there?
Well, look at the stats, though. I mean, he's older than Linus, but look at the stats. He scored 6 goals, I believe.
No, but the whole complaint of he didn't go to Europe. It's not like there was a bunch of clubs, waving a check or willing to take him over.
So I'm wondering
take him to their clubs.
So just because of youth, there's going to be a bunch of clubs wanting Linus, who scored. I believe he scored less goals than Vega did this season.
Yeah, but Linus's role isn't to score goals. I mean, it's nice that he scores them, but Linus is attacking. Linus is a classic.
Yeah, so he's an attacking midfielder, I guess. Partly because of, or he's on the wing. I guess partly because of the lineup that America has with Oribe and well, he would sub in a lot for what's his name? Who's pretty much a straight striker. So he's not a target type of scorer, but he is a scorer. He is a forward.
Well, I mean, he does score goals, but what I'm saying is that he's not. He's not that full-on goal-scoring striker. I mean, he defends pretty well, and he. In the defending third, he goes back pretty far.
I'll see it. I want to see it to believe it because I'm seeing a bunch of hype around Alexis Vega going to Chivas. I wouldn't be surprised if he does nothing at Chivas. If he gets worse even at Chivas.
Well, the hype is because he scored some really nice goals, and there is almost very few Mexican strikers. There's just not that many. So, in any kid that shows potential right away, there's a hype train. We saw it with Google for a while.
And don't think it didn't happen in other places. Andy freaking Carroll went for like 150 million pounds. So let's not.
I would like to see. I would like to see if Linus does go to Europe. I would like to see him go straight to a big team, not to a Dutch team, not to a PSV, but to a straight.
It's the only way he goes to Europe is if he goes to one of those teams, because Club America has more money playing Linus at Club America for 3 years than if Porto offers him £6 million, $6 million or €6 million or whatever it is. But if give me like if Tottenham, let's say, comes in and offers 50 million, oh yeah. But if a Valencia or a Sevilla, somebody like that, Roma.
Yeah, I don't know if I want him going to EPL. EPL has a bunch of miasgas on over there.
But I think EPL could easily like buy him.
But they're not going to pay again. If Linus goes to Europe, he ain't going for 10 million because Club America can make that with him.
Yeah,
and Club America, he's going to go for 40 or 50.
Yeah,
that's the only way he goes.
Yeah, man, he's in line to be their next Cuauhtemoc. Why would they just throw that away? It's not like they have 3 more in the, lined up. They might not have a player like that for the next 20, 30 years. But I think, in La Liga, they're more likely to want a player with a EU passport, where I think not so much in the EPL, where they'll be more concerned with if they have that one rule, they have to be like a national team player, which
Right.
I think he's gonna easily meet that qualification. But he's of the big leagues. I'll say that's one of them. That's the one that would easily could pay for him and take him, and it wouldn't be so much of an issue.
Let's not pretend that they're things are roses there right now.
I don't know if it's just me, but I can't hear John. He cuts off.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time.
Cheekies,
Yeah, he's been cutting
your
off a little
connection, it cuts you off, and I could only hear like 1 or 2 things, and then it trails off.
Here's a question I just saw on Picante Twitter.
What is the question? Lay it on us, Cheekies.
You look crazy, man. Cruz Azul America, will it be better than River Plate Boca Juniors?
Say what?
Will the Cruz Azul America final be as good as or better than River Plate Boca Juniors?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, it could.
Only
it
if
could
brick
be.
is thrown through a. Only if a brick and
Through the
is
window.
thrown through a window.
No, come on. We shouldn't downplay our own tournaments.
You need to see some antics, man.
Yeah, I saw Martin, man, our good friend Martin del Palacio triggered some people. He was talking about just he called the Libertadores final a poor quality match. He said something that it's at the level of the mid to low table La Liga teams. And it had quite the reaction.
Oh yeah.
I think. No, I think we've seen some really good games, and I'll say that America game, and I had some friends from South American friends. They were just raving about that game, and I was a little bit jello, because it was America, and they were talking about the one game where the goalie, Torta Munoz, he scores like last minute, and sometimes that was one of the best games I've ever seen. So yeah, I think like it might not have that sort of hype, like internationally, but like overall, I think the talent that's there, I do think they could do a really entertaining match at a
Yeah, I
good
think
level.
I think what's really key to this matchup is that neither team can afford or wants to lose to the other team.
Oh no, no.
America does not want to lose to a Cruz Azul,
Well,
and Cruz Azul
well,
does not want to be subcampeón. And so
no,
I think
not
there's going to
again.
be some heated, like you were talking about Pumas going out like
Oh
and making sandwich for America. That's not going to
yeah,
happen here. There's going to be, I think there's
sandwich.
going to be some,
Uh,
there's going to be
oh
some blows thrown.
well, yeah, because one America, they haven't. I mean, what is it? If I'm not mistaken, they haven't won the league title since their centenario, and I think that's
It's
something
been
they've been
since
eight.
2013.
Yeah, since they have not won it and they wanted to celebrate with a centenario win, which is something Chivas.
America, America, America.
So
Sigue esta
you're much,
tarde, America.
and, yeah, and but they do have, they've established that dominance over Cruz Azul, where it's like to get to the final and to lose, after dominating that one team for so long, that would just be something else. Um, but I think I'm with John. America, Cruz Azul is due. They're doing, which hey, they had. That was the game, right? That was the game that America won, right? Was with Piojo. They beat Cruz
Yes.
Azul. That was, yeah. That's like the rematch right there. And
On
it's
the on the
Piojo,
on the
right?
autogol that Americanistas claimed was Moises Munoz.
Oh, but
His
he did
autogol.
run up. He did, yeah. Because I was telling Chiquis, I had a lot of friends, some of my South American friends, and they were talking about that game, how it was very exciting and one of the best games they've seen. You know, uh,
No, it should be. It's yeah. It's Cruz Azul had that game won, and they scored the 2 goals there at the end. You know the the miracle goal that Moises Munoz scored that went off of. I think it was Beltran, and it goes to a 90-degree angle into the goal, and somehow that's not an autogol or whatever. Talk to Johnny Rico. He'll want to erect statues of Moises Munoz until he plays poorly and wants to tear the statues down.
But I mean, that's all him though. Like what's the probability of a goalkeeper getting it even on goal off a header? So even
I've seen
if it
Chuy
was,
Corona score. He did that too. Actually, it was against Estudiantes Tecos. He
and
scored the late winner.
yeah,
and
I have no problem giving.
Calero did it to Chivas in a, I think it was a semifinal. Calero, yeah, Miguel Calero for Pachuca.
Yeah, I'll give that to Munoz though, even though it deflected. I'll give
Dude,
it to him.
I'm gonna give it to him too. I'm gonna be with.
No, mames. His header
If it,
was nowhere near going toward goal.
but he
Well, yeah, it
hit,
was.
but he hit
It
it.
was.
He
It was.
put it
It
in
was going.
motion.
It was going on goal, but Chuy Corona would have blocked it. But it was still like a good shot.
Well, I mean, if he doesn't run up, if he doesn't take that shot, then that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
You know, I have to give him credit for that.
I don't like the
took
way you
that
guys
risk.
gang up on.
No, I mean it's still an own goal, but I still have to give him credit because he.
Well, you give him credit, but don't give him credit for the goal.
Oh,
Give him credit for making a play, but not for the goal.
That was a deflection. Like,
Yeah, a deflection that went in the opposite direction
but like
of where he headed the ball. Unless
no,
you're going to tell me that
it didn't go in the opposite. It didn't go in the opposite direction.
It totally did.
Okay, it was going straight to the bottom right corner, and then instead it went to the top right corner.
Left corner. Exactly.
Left corner?
So it was no way it was his goal. There's no way.
Well, that's just like the those shots that are like racing on the grass level, and a guy just blocks it, and it goes, instead of going to the goalie, it goes to the left side of the goalie. Those are still counted as goals. They're not own goals, but it's a deflection. So I think it's similar. It's pretty much. Let me watch this thing again.
I'm gonna call BS. Joel, is it true that the Leaños own part of the Czech stop here that I'm about to stop on to get my kolaches?
It might. I don't know. Their influences have pretty far reach. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised.
There's a Czech stop in West Texas and Zapopan.
Could be the Leaños, man.
Yeah. Well, we're going. Yeah, but it is the last. It was the last final. No, I'm sorry. America won one more final. They beat Tigres the following year in 2014. But this is a rematch of that last final.
Yeah, same.
By the way,
it's surprising. What happened?
Guys, over in the old country has started going on a little goal scoring flurry, and I think that he's back to being healthy. It shouldn't surprise anybody, but our friend Chicharito is the Gold Cup. Gold Cup on fire. He almost outscored every team in the Gold Cup in Mexico by himself. He was one goal away from doing it. And let's face it, it's not like strikers are pulled out of the ground like a lovely agave plant all over Jalisco and Mexico. They are few and far between. They need him. Tata Martino is going, thank God. I at least for my first test, I'll have someone I can rely on. Chicky, is he gonna play for the? Is he gonna play in the Gold Cup? Is it gonna be a swan song?
I would say yeah. I think he's still got some game in him, especially a Gold Cup type of.
He's proving it.
Yeah, so.
Chiquis, I've been making some stops at the Czech stop here. I'm coming up here in West here in a little bit. Should I keep the tradition going? Should I keep the tradition alive, Chiquis?
Yeah, I get it.
Let me ask you: have you ever stopped?
Yeah, I've done it once, just because of you, because of all the hype. I decided, okay, let me intentionally stop and try it out.
Live up to the hype?
It was okay. We have a place, a donut place here in Kyle. The kolaches are really good, so I thought it was okay. It didn't live up.
All right. What kind of kolache did you get?
It was I don't know if it was jalapeno, but it was the cheese right. And hot dog kolache.
Now you have excessively high standards for players, particularly Mexican players. I'm starting to see that you have excessively high standards now for kolaches too. So.
Yeah, maybe we were in a rush or something. I think we had like a pastry also, which wasn't too great, but I like kolaches. The kolaches that are here over in Kyle are just simple. I don't like them too fancy, and they're smaller, so I think I like them a little bit smaller and better. But it was good. It was on our way to UFC, so we were sort of in a hurry. But yeah, we grabbed some.
You take your family to UFC, Chickens?
Oh, it was just my wife and myself.
Does she get into it? Does she scream and yell and hope the blood gets sprayed on her and she just loves it?
No, she enjoys it. She likes it. She
I mean,
yeah, so
I gotta
we
tell
watched
you,
it together.
watching my wife watch boxing is just it's like she becomes a different person
Oh,
for
really?
an hour. Oh, she gets
Did you
really into it and just like she was a big fan of Oscar that hour.
did you guys watch the Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder fight?
No, I'll tell you the best fight I've ever seen, and I don't think there's any. I mean, at least that I've seen with my own eyes, that there's no fight even comes close. Was the first Tyson Holyfield fight.
Oh yeah.
It was I don't know if you remember, but it was a beat down from both of them from start to finish. I mean, that was a street fight. I mean, usually heavyweights, they hug more than punch. Always, it's like a, they just squeeze each other to love fest. These guys just beat the snot out of each other for like 9 rounds, whatever it was. Holyfield finally got him there.
Yeah.
I've never that was like 20 years ago. I've never seen a fight. Although there was a series, Chickies, on HBO. They had when they would do their Saturday night. It was Gallo against somebody, like 3 of them, and those were also knockdown drag out. Like, all 3 of them, and by the end of it, the guys are, they become friends or whatever. It's like, oh man, thank you so much for beating the hell out of me. Both of them are just so happy and ecstatic to. I mean, they ended up just, how can you not, become, bonded in some way after that? They had 3 really good ones too. But yeah, but that Tyson Holyfield fight always sticks out. So I'm sure that your wife probably would have enjoyed that too.
Yeah. She doesn't like boxing
Just explain
too much.
to me, why don't they clean the blood off the mat between rounds? What the hell? That's
they do.
Nasty.
They do clean
Yes.
it. They disinfect it. They clean it up, and I mean they can't clean out the stain, but they do. Because it just stains the canvas, but they do disinfect it and clean up the blood. Just a stain is left behind.
Well, they do it between fights, but not between rounds.
Oh, between rounds.
It's gross, dude. It's gross.
Yeah, there's not enough time to do that.
That is
we're all
just nasty.
It's all good. We're all healthy. They take their tests, I guess. Or even when they're fighting, man. Like over the weekend, they were fighting, and they're like wrestling each other with blood from both fighters. Just mixing all around. It's normal, I guess.
Yeah, that's very normal behavior. Oh, did I miss my exit? Yeah, whack. I'm disappointed. You're very high standards. I've been eating them for a long time, so I don't know.
I'll give it another try.
To me, if I'm getting a kolache, if I'm not getting it at the check stop, why bother? That's the way I should Periscope when I get in there from a. I cannot deal with. Well, I did an MMA fight a few years ago, and then like the big main event, they've been promoting it out of the 5 fights, whatever it was the absolute super duper big one. It lasted like 8 seconds because one of the fighters accidentally got narded, and I mean it was terribly like a knee, just a really rough way of doing it, and he couldn't fight anymore. He was just like totally, it was completely accidental. But the other fighter was equally as devastating. But yeah, I felt so bad. Because finally getting these on TV, he's has a chance for a really decent payout, and he gets narded within the first 10 seconds of the fight, and he was down for the count, and he couldn't do anything about it.
Oh, geez.
So he was, the other guy wins, but the other guy was like, he was like,
he didn't want to win that way.
But he said, and I will, hopefully we'll be able to, to settle this fair and square sometime. Which I thought was really cool. Boca Juniors wins this Copa Libertadores. I'm so embarrassed for them because it's like it just shows me that they had no confidence in their own players to win a game at the moment. That is just pathetic. I think that you have to resort to the gigantic maze of bullshit that they created in order to not have to play there. Shame on them.
That's a South American trend. Like you see Luis Suarez biting people, doing whatever whatever dirty tactic he does, because I mean, he's got talent and everything, but it's some feeling deep down that he knows he's not going to win. They're not going to win, so he needs to resort to that type of thing. Or like Tyson Holyfield, he knew he wasn't going to win, so what does he do? He bites the guy's ear off and stuff.
Right.
Because he's just so frustrated because he needs to do whatever he can to win. But yeah, that's Boca. Boca, they needed to try whatever.
When I went to the soccer game at the LA Coliseum with Joel, that's when Joel was losing an argument. I can't remember who he was talking to, but he was losing an argument with somebody. I'm not going to sorry, vámonos. Bit his ear in half and then spit the earpiece right in his face and walked away. I was pretty impressed. Where's Joel? Did we lose Joel?
I'm here.
That was Joel in his Foo's Gone Wild days.
Right.
I don't know.
wrestling with fellow press people.
So how do you guys see the first match playing out? They both will be at the Azteca. So how do you guys see the first game between Cruz Azul and America?
Go ahead, Chiquis.
I have no idea. I mean, I'm gonna have to go with my initial thing that I said. I think before Liga started, I'm gonna say America wins, even though, like I was telling Joel, yeah, I want and I think Cruz Azul deserves. It would be awesome for them to win. But my initial prediction was America. So I'm gonna have to say America somehow pulls it out. But we'll have to see.
Unless if some miracle happens, Joel, the first leg is going to do nothing but just set up the second one. I think it'll be, if anybody wins, it'll be by la mínima, whether it's 2-1 or 1-0. But it wouldn't shock me if it ends up 1-1 or 2-2 or even 0-0. I do think that the first leg is going to do nothing but just serve up the second one. I have stopped at the check stop, so I will be. Give me like 5 minutes. I'm gonna go get my delicious non-Chiquis approved kolaches. I'll be right back.
No, I feel the same way as John. I think first game they're gonna feel each other out, and then the second one will be the main where they're gonna go all out. But I do think they'll try to get at least the minimum advantage, but I don't think any team is gonna go for the kill. Like, at least not right off the bat.
It makes sense. So they're not gonna risk conceding a goal. They're gonna try to be well ordered on the defensive, and if an opportunity on the offense comes up, they'll take it. But I guess they're gonna play not to lose.
Yeah, just overall more cautious.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do think it will be intense. Regardless, I think it will be very intense. There's a lot at stake, and both teams know it, and the players know it. Coaches know it. Everyone knows it. Just because the long history between both teams. And the rivalry and cross-town rivalry and same stadium. So it's a lot. It's a lot riding in on this.
Yeah, I got a lot of I got family and friends that are Cruz Azul fans. They're coming out of the woodwork, man. They're showing their support. They're getting excited for this final. So.
Yeah, which we need to reach out to Jason. He's been MIA. He did leave to Malaysia. He might be able to pick up a signal. And Yeah, Jason, a good friend Jason, big Cruz Azul fan. He stuck with them through thick and thin, and kind of sucks for him now that you know Cruz Azul is finally doing good. He hasn't. I'm pretty sure he has a hard time keeping up with the games. But what I'd like to know is what his thoughts are.
Yeah, I'm sure he's happy. But yeah, I see him like traveling all over the place, right?
Yeah, yeah, he's living over there. So I don't know when he's due back.
Yeah,
Well, that's pretty much it, man. I
yeah,
guess we just wait for Yon in his Kalasha report. But yeah, football wise, we pretty much hit all the subjects we had. Um, there's probably just transfer rumors. There's that one Tigres guy, I believe Sosa, that was former Pumas. There's talk that he might return back to the CU. Did you hear about that, Chiquis?
no, I didn't.
No?
That would be good. I haven't heard
Okay.
that. Yeah, I was hearing some America stuff, but yeah, I didn't
Oh,
hear about that one.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah, it would be Ismael Sosa, um, Chuco. So he didn't seem to get as many games. He only played 5 games.
uh,
So there was talk of him returning back to Pumas. So that's something, that would be a
yeah.
good pickup for them. What would you say Pumas needs to continue or to remain competitive? Because a lot of teams going into next season, which what John said it starts in what 2 weeks. He said. I think they're going to. We might see some spending, especially more compared to last transfer window. And yet, Chivas already they're already talking about they already brought in 3 players, Mier, Vega, and Villapando, and Cardoso was saying that they're still gonna bring 2 to 3 more. You
Oh,
know, yeah. So I do think a lot of teams will be reforzándose pretty good. Uh, what would you say Pumas needs, or
I think
who
that
would you like to see in Pumas?
um, I think they need a midfielder, someone to connect the defense to the offense a little bit better. I was just looking at the some on Twitter and a name came up, but like Osvaldito Martinez. I don't know if that is even possible, but that type of player would be something that I think Pumas would need. Their offense with that Gonzalez dude and El Chavo Alustiza,
Yeah,
I think is okay, but I think the midfield needs to be a little bit better. And then I'm surprised the defense is doing as well with uh, with the aged Barrera, but maybe
would,
like on the defense and
would,
midfield and
would you like another
the
goalkeeper?
no, I mean I think he's still okay.
he's,
I don't. I
he's
think he
still
just had
good.
a bad. Yeah, I think he's
He
still
just
good.
had
He
a
just had a
bad
bad game.
a bad game. So here's a report on Ismael Sosa. It says he would not renew with Tigres. Pachuca and Pumas are options. Says Chuco is not happy with the very few minutes he
Yeah,
has at Tigres, and he's already made up his mind to leave in December. So he will not be renewing his contract. Um, yep.
yeah. The other thing that I saw on Twitter just now was, and this is just like purely talk and rumors, was Henry Martin and Oribe leaving. and maybe a Boselli coming in. I know you talked about Boselli going to Cruz Azul, but a Boselli to America.
No. I didn't talk about him going to Cruz Azul. I said that he's
Oh,
the type of transfer that
oh, the type.
Pelaez would probably go
Yeah,
after because he likes players that he's gone after known commodities. Like if you know,
yeah,
it's one thing he did at America, and it's something he did at Cruz Azul, where he sees what players do good in the league, and he goes after those players. He doesn't really go and bring someone from abroad. He'll get someone from that's done really good, and just Boselli with the problems he was having at Leon,
yeah.
you know, I think he would be an option. Probably in the radar. Um, yeah, and
That
as
that that
as
was an that
Henry
was just
Martin,
an
I don't know, man. I'll be surprised if they let go of Henry Martin. Oribe Peralta, I heard Peralta going to Atlas.
okay.
So yeah, and I could see it just because of Marquez. You know, they're both probably from Selección, probably calling it in as a favor. Hey, come over here, man. We need
It's
we need all the help we can get. Is
Yeah.
John back? Is he
I'm
got
back.
his
I'm
kolache
back.
fix? He,
I'm all
okay.
hooked up.
Okay. Well, we were closing it up with transfer talk because, as you said, the league is going to start up pretty soon. And I'm telling Chiquis I'm expecting more spending than the previous. In the previous transfer window, I could see some teams opening up the coin purse. Chivas already got 3 players. They're talking about bringing in 2 or 3 more. And then I told Chiquis about Ismael Sosa. He might be coming back to Pumas.
Thank God.
Pachuca might get in the way, so that's something there. Um, and then I expect Cruz Azul. I'm pretty sure they're gonna get rid of Carterucho Quemado just because he hasn't. I think he's a player that they could replace, and they wouldn't. They, nothing of value would be lost. I don't think he lived up to the hype. At least what they were expecting, given how in Argentina he was, pounding them in. Um, but I could see Cruz Azul, and I was telling Chiquis, just going off of Pelaez, maybe Boselli would probably be one of their options, just because he likes,
He likes proven
uh,
guys.
prove. And there's also Furchazo,
Well,
Santos.
Furchaso's going to go to America because that's where
Okay,
Santos strikers go.
yeah, that is true. That is true. But knowing Pelaez, he's probably would be one of his targets. So yeah, so teams are gonna. We should start seeing already a lot of movement in the transfer window, with teams starting to prepare for next season. For the next tournament.
And Marco Fabian will come back to Mexico, and he will be Puma. That's my big prediction.
Oh, very good.
Oh man, you really think Marquito Fabian?
Yep, it's exactly what they need. He needs a landing spot. Chivas won't pay
No.
because Marquito, costing just a good spot for him, and it's a position of need for Pumas, and it's a spot where Marquito can have fun and enjoy himself and be a mentor to the younger players. It's a win-win for everybody. Particularly
I
Pumas.
see. I really do see, and I was talking about Quede Mal. My prediction was after the World Cup we were going to see more Mexican internationals in MLS. I had it at 5. So because there was already 3, the Dos Santos and Vela, I expected at least 2 or 3 more to come back, Peralta being one of them. But I do feel that Cheech and even Fabian they would land over here. They're just paying that much more money. I do feel the league here would pay that much more. I know some of the Liga MX can easily equal that, but I do feel the players would, especially some of them that they lived abroad would. Some of them would just stay and live. They don't like some of the just some of the things that's going on in Mexico. And we do have Dennis the close man. He he did jump ship. He's no longer with La Selección. He was getting us some nice games against Europeos or Europeos, how I sometimes hear it said. That kind of sucks. But he's with the gals, man, and so I do think he's gonna make a strong push to bring in the seleccionado.
Hopefully not a quemado, like
Nope.
like dos antros.
Yeah, dude, I don't think he was quemado when he arrived, man. You look at his stats, and it was insane. Every game, he would either score or give an assist or both. And
Yeah.
then he just all of a sudden he just fell off the radar. And it'll be interesting to know, like, hey, what's going on? What happened, man? Because sometimes there's the extra cancha things that happen that affect the players. It's so many things that could be going on in his life that they could have affected him, and it went into his play. Like Neri. That's what happened with Neri. It's
Yeah.
not like he lost his talent, but him losing his parents, and then the problems with his wife. That just turned off the flame for him. So with Gio, who knows, man? Maybe his dog got run over or something.
That's what I was about to say. His lapdog got
his
passed away or something.
his pelagatos. Something happened, dude. So some girl probably chewed him up and spit him out. Something happened, man. Something happened, and
Someone
yeah,
someone
because he
fell his
brought his
bottle up.
brother. Not that, hey, dude, his brother's there. Zlatan is there. What more do you need to light a fire in your ass? And nothing, man. Nothing. I heard they were gonna send them to the Timbers or something. So I don't know. I really don't know what's going on with Gio.
Yeah. Alrighty,
But
homies.
yeah, creo que hasta aquí llegamos, chiquis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on. Thanks, John, for coming on, and as always, bringing in your insight. Enjoy your colache.
Yeah, Scolach.
And thanks everyone for listening. I'll have this
If
uploaded
they're
to
still-
iTunes.
If they're still listening.
Yeah, I think they dropped off. Firm and Josue were on the chat.
Who?
They actually had Firm
Oh.
65 and Josue.
Oh,
They
man.
announced us on the Mexican soccer show. They said CantinaMX is on on the chat on the Mexican soccer show chat.
I
It's like, oh,
usually I forgot to check, man. I like to do that. I like to jump in the chat to see and then contribute, but se me olvidó, man.
yeah.
I was a bit hyped.
All right, man. Thanks for coming on. I'll have this stuff uploaded tomorrow, and we'll see you guys
All right,
next time.
chavos. Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll probably try to do in game, if not after the game, to give reactions and all that.
Oh yeah, and Saturday morning, don't forget to wake up.
Saturday morning cartoons. Oh, orale.
No,
Okay.
Saturday morning goat cartoons, though, man.
Saturday morning used to be Soul Train, WWF Superstars, and He-Man and Smurfs. That was the Saturday lineup, man.
Well, that's a Chivas match, though, man. That's a Chivas match. They're playing Antuna or whatever that team is.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The Antlers.
Club World Cup.
Así está, yeah.
Okay.
Late.
signing off.